Lydia Walter. Why East Coast Bowhunting Podcast?
Because neither one of us wear pink camo.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look, man, I'm from Wisconsin. I listen to the East Coast Bowhunters because you don't get anything more real than these guys.
Because East Coast Bowhunting sets the standards for keeping its listeners informed on everything that matters in the hunting industry.
It's nice having somebody, local and represent the East Coast boys.
The East Coast is going to saddle up.
Number one source for slaying whitetails on the East Coast.
Well, you might see Jesus if you actually do something, it'll get you into heaven.
Why East Coast? Why not? I'm East Coast, baby. That's how we roll. Chew on that.
Come on the show, a stranger, and you feel like one of the boys when you leave.
Because I get my hunting camp anytime I want.
There's some absolute monsters roaming the East Coast, and I think it needs a little attention, so why not bring it to the East Coast Bowhunters Podcast?
Man, because East Coast is a tight-knit crew, and y'all like me. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Because you guys are hometown boys. I love you guys.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
This is Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bowhunter, and East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is the only hunting podcast I'll tune into.
I'm a mama's girl, her whole world. I'm like the son daddy never had. I might rock a skirt, but love playing in the dirt on my shot. It ain't half bad. I'm a real spitfire who can raise some hell, but I can be sweeter than a southern belle. Giddy up, put on the pedal. Get knocked down and get back in the saddle. It's gonna take more than one hit to get me rattled.
I don't know why I relate to that song so much. I don't know if it's because I like wearing skirts when I'm saddling up with Wild Edge. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, there you are. I was waiting on you, man. Thought you were on D-Rock time, as they like to say nowadays, man. Come on in. Sit down. Crank up your earbuds. Tune in. Yeah. Here. Have a beer. Have it. Oh, damn. You must be thirsty. Chubby. It's good stuff, right? Good stuff, man. Welcome to the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. I'm your boy D-Rock, and I'm here with... Oh, damn. I'm here alone tonight. This sucks. Pornstar couldn't make it. Trev's still in timeout. Shit. It's just going to be me tonight, so you might as well get a six-pack of Shabine. Grab some Elijah Craig. It's going to be a long night. So we're here, Coventry, Connecticut. Well, I'm here in Coventry, Connecticut, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. And I'm sitting here in Slay's studio, and we got a special episode tonight with Garrett Benner, the modern assassin. This dude is all over the place. In your face, raw, real, no bullshit. And this episode is brought to you by Shabine Brewing, the Hunter's Beer. 100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music known worldwide. Trev's Euros, for all your Euromount needs. Encore Targets, self-healing targets to self-heal your pockets. Meyer Trail Cameras, who's on your hit list? Outright Hunting, the Morph Pro is the last bow hanger you'll ever buy. Death Wish Coffee, the world's strongest coffee, fueled by death. Promo code East Coast 10. Ethics Archery, it's like steroids for your arrows. Use promo code East Coast 10. Tree Thrasher, imitate the wild, and use promo code East Coast 15. Northeast Game Calls, or Northeastern Game Calls. Northeastern Game Calls, yeah. My bad, Mark. So with that, you get them in close, and buy your ECB Blood Series turkey pot calls and turkey tube, deer grunt calls. Sounds pretty damn good. And look out for the Evolution series coming out real soon. Them shits are dope as fuck. It's definitely a step above the rest. totally custom, vibrant colors to meet even the women's colors. No, not pink. Fuck pink. It's going to be nice, like a lavender. No, not lavender. Deep purples, nice blues, and vibrant emerald green, like the ECB colors. So keep a lookout, because that's on the rise. It's pretty dope. We're going to have a promo code for that pretty soon, too. So tune in for that. Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting. So saddle up with us so you can get you a perch, the only accessory platform for your Wild Edge step. So if you have any problems finding a tree, your troubles are over. Just find your hunting spot and then pick a tree. Wild Edge Inc. is where it's at. Use promo code East Coast Aid to get your free aider with any purchase at Wild Edge Inc. Just make sure you purchase some steps and a perch. They're dope. This show is driven by Scranton Motors and powered by Scranton Power Sports. They supply everything East Coast team needs in order to get to trade shows or drive cross country or even drive into the woods. Awesome team. Check them out. You want your Polaris or your GM, Cadillac, Buick, if Buick's still around. Oh, the Buicks are still around. But they're the shit. And this show is presented by Working Class Bowhunter, the only podcast that sponsors another. The OGs of the hunting podcast. The brand in the hunting industry. The gang shit. East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. What's up? Man, this episode is our first, it's a podcast test trial, man. On some clear-cut honesty, this is a first for the podcast. Trev's in timeout, but to elaborate, he's actually here in studio this time. His first episode on timeout, he was kneeling on rice. The next one, he was writing on a chalkboard. I will not post stupid shit on social media. And today, he's really been committed and grinding out to his punishment. And he's running sound today in studio. His mic is just off. So I'll give him a wink over there. Wink, wink. He just gave me the finger. It's all right, though. He's earning it, though. You know? It's just to prove that we are a business. And as much as we may fuck off, we are serious about what we provide. And what we provide is an educational platform to make learning fun. And that's what we're all about. So I'm excited to get Garrett on the line. But before we do that, we need to cut to some important news. Welcome to the Borderline Mexican Corral, where we touch on borderline issues at hand. Hunting is not murder. It's murder. Check out this cool article written by Steve Sorensen on Everyday Hunter. It touches on the whole idea of killing in comparison to murder. It's a very borderline issue because killing an animal is plotted and has strategic value, but straight murder is committed out of heinous intentions. But in comparison, how are they even compared when government says it's okay to kill animals and not humans? We all know someone that could get it. But again, rules are rules. How about the sixth commandment? Thou shalt not kill. Well, guess what? Natural history shows we survive by killing, not murder. So if someone asks, just say, it's survival. And back off, motherfucker, because I'll kill you.
You were born primal. You were born primal.
Right. Yo, That intro is so sick. Welcome Garrett Benner, the modern assassin, to the show. What's up, G? What's cracking?
What's happening, D-Rock?
Shit. Just to give you a heads up, you may have found out because you are a listener. Appreciate the support.
Hell yeah, man. East Coast.
Hell yeah. And the last couple episodes, when this releases anyways, we call it the Timeout series, is Trev fucked up. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. He fucked up, and the first episode of the Timeout series, he was kneeling on Rice in studio. The second episode, we were watching him on our Meyer trail camera, making sure he's writing on the chalkboard. I will not post stupid shit on social media.
Like Bart Simpson style, writing on the chalkboard shit?
Yeah, straight up.
All right.
And then now this episode, actually, he's been very committed, man, and he does feel bad with shit. So he's running sound now. He's in studio, mic off, running sound. So if this if this episode comes out sounding fucked up, guess whose fault it is? And he'll be back in timeout.
Well, I mean, straight up, no matter if it's this or something else, everybody's been there to fuck up. What matters is what you do afterwards, man.
Word. I couldn't agree more, man. It's you can't change the past, but you always have a chance to change the future, and that's what he's working on. So
it's a real fuck up if you don't learn from it.
Word. So let's kick it off right, man. For the first time listener, not knowing who you are, if they're living under a fucking rock or something like that, let's start it off right. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and where we can find you.
Well, hang on a second. I don't feel like I'm officially on the East Coast podcast yet. Shabine.
Yeah.
All right, so...
wait, what beer is that?
I got the milkshake IPA, the orange one.
Okay, the creamsicle one.
Yeah, I had one of the pink ones, which was my favorite, and Steph Keefe's wife stole it from me. So, I think it's only
was it Steph or was it Trev?
Like the pink Starburst.
Oh, yeah.
You don't mind admitting that the pink one's your favorite, and that's the one you want. Not only will you admit it, you'll fight for the fucking pink ones.
So was it Steph that stole it, or was it Trev actually?
Trev stole one, and I had a little hidden stash because I thought, little fish fingers there might get into my Shabine. So I had another one stashed, and of course Stephanie, I think she sniffed that shit out, dog. She went right to it.
You know
Can't
what?
hide nothing.
Hell yeah. She's a savage too. She's a savage. But
yeah, and not only is she a savage, but she's a Shabiner now.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I'll never forget that. You know what? We'll cut into that a little later.
Word.
Let's get back on track with just letting the listeners who you are and where we can find you and stuff.
My name is Garrett Benner, known as the Modern Assassin. Run themodernassasins.com. It started as, I started doing this whole thing, filming hunts and kind of creating some gear and apparel and just doing different reviews and shit. Just because I didn't really fit into, I guess, the mold of the industry when I started doing this. I never really fit in anywhere, so I just kind of started doing my own shit, If you can't be part of the best, you just got to be the best yourself, So I started filming, doing all my own editing. My whole thing is I just try to keep it raw, real, no bullshit. I found that the way I had been filming, I was taken away from the fun in hunting. I was dulling myself down, so it was dulling down the hunt. And I figured, well, if anyone's going to see my shit, it's going to be what I post on the internet, and I can post whatever I want. So, that's where it all started. And, so I got my YouTube, The Modern Assassins, Facebook page, and, and then Instagram is probably where I show the most shit and probably the most active platform, and that's _modern_assassin.
That's dope. That's dope. And on Facebook, you actually have a public group as well, right? Or is it closed? I'm not even sure.
Good question, D-Rock. I honestly don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with Facebook nearly as much. It's just too many opinions and bullshit. You know, like I said, I've probably said on this before, you know, most people are highly opinionated but poorly educated. And so I don't get too involved with Facebook. But, yeah, I got a group on there. If you want to join, send a thing. I just, you know, maybe a little while before I see it and add you to the group. That's all. But welcome aboard, Killis.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm actually writing that down in my notes as a topic. Highly opinionated, poorly educated.
I mean, it's the truth, dude. Everybody's got a big voice and a big mouth and a big opinion, and most of it comes from a headline they saw on a Facebook post. They didn't read into it to find out what anything is. They didn't objectively look at either side, but people just get so outraged. Like it's the thing to do to be upset and outraged about something and get other people rallied about it. I instead of handling their own daily bullshit, people reach out for these crazy outlandish opinions and get involved with, you know, shit they don't even know what they're talking about.
You know what? I think the main reason, I'm glad you bring that up, but I think the main reason they actually do that is to get just attention. Because, you know, a lot of people out there, believe it or not, when it comes to social media, and you know what? Truth be told, I fucking hate my phone, man. You know, I live on my phone, me personally, for multiple reasons, all over social media, always talking on the phone. It's like, I hate seeing how my phone tells me how much time I spend on my phone because I feel like throwing it into the fucking garage floor that I work on a daily basis.
Right.
But that being said, some other people, they're addicted to especially social media, not just their phone, but social media, and it's an addiction. You know, it's like crack to some people, and they need to have interaction and likes and attention that sometimes they just kind of reach out through that in a negative way because they're still getting attention. That whole like for love or for likes kind of syndrome. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, no bullshit. I do not have the Facebook or the Instagram like icon on any of my screens. I don't have any of those notifications turned on because I was one of those people that it was like, not saying I was addicted, but I'm also very interactive. If someone asks a question, I try to answer. Right. And if you have a lot of people asking questions and you're constantly answering, well, they constantly just ask another question. And it was just, I was just spending too much time on it. So now I don't even I have to, you know, go into my apps folder and go to Facebook or Instagram, you know, because if I had it right there on the home screen, I was just almost out of habit, just hitting it to check it. And it's like, oh, well, I'll check it for 2 seconds. And then 3 conversations in later, you know, there goes 15, 20 minutes. And it's like, man, I can't be doing this shit. I gotta focus more on making content than dealing with what's on there, you know? But one of the biggest problems with social media, and people do not realize this, is how tailored content is.
Oh, yeah. Like, let's dive into this hard, actually, because this is something
like perfect example. We're just going to take the complete opposite side of us.
Okay.
Say you are a vegetarian and you're anti-hunting, and every post you click on has something to do with saving the animals and anti-hunting and everything else. Very soon, those algorithms are going to say, oh, well, this is what they like, and that's all they're going to show you.
Can you explain real quick? I need to cut you off real quick. Can you explain what an algorithm is? Because some people aren't even aware what the hell the fuck that is.
Okay.
People need to be aware.
It's a fancy math term. We'll just go with that. And So, okay, what it does is it compiles what you're doing, what you like, what you dislike. Okay, we're just going to say Facebook, just to, use an example. Facebook wants you to spend every moment on Facebook, okay? They don't want you to click a link that takes you away from Facebook. They want you on Facebook and engaging. So if they see, to follow the same example, that you're anti-hunting and a vegetarian, they're going to try to show you two things. Things that either support veganism and anti-hunting, or things that bash or go against or abrasively speak of veganism or anti-hunting. So either you are really enjoying what you see and you're interacting, or you're completely against what you're seeing and you're interacting. And the more you interact, the more someone interacts back. So it's a vicious cycle of, exactly why I said I don't even have apps on my screen anymore. You get sucked into it, but people don't realize that everything they're seeing is tailored to them, and soon start to think, well, this is the world. This is what the world is like now. This is what people are like now. When really, no, that's what your Facebook page is like, because it's been tailored to that through what you like, what you dislike, what you click on, and then paid advertisements.
Dope. This is something, I'm glad you touched on that, because, again, there's not a lot of people that are aware of that. Even some very intelligent people that obviously, Facebook or social media in general, actually, it's free marketing. And we're on the verge that it's trying to convert to not be free marketing. And the way they're starting to do this is through that, the algorithms. And this is, it's kind of scary, because it's like Big Brother times 10, because it's really focusing on what you like or dislike or are involved in. And some people don't realize what's going on when they scroll through their feed. I mean, more and more we're seeing people getting posts taken down by Facebook or even Instagram, because now they're joined together just because they don't agree with what they're posting, which is
absolutely
insane. And that's just the beginning.
And tension is attention.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So anytime you can create something that causes tension between one group or more, the more people you can provoke, the more people you have interacting. So it's almost a lot of it is a tool of provocation. Okay, perfect example. If you go to a restaurant, local restaurant, and it's pretty good food, you're probably not going to go home and get online and talk about it. But if you go and the service is absolute shit, it takes 50 minutes, and then you get, who knows what from the dirty water left in your food, you're going to go home and be like, yo, fuck this place. This sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, tension is attention.
You know what? Let me interrupt real quick. I'm glad you bring that up specifically, because this is actually something that people, and we're like all in left field, so we'll round back to the basis, so to speak. But I'm glad you bring that up, because this reminds me of a teacher I once had, and it was actually something similar. Someone posted something similar on Facebook, ironically. But my teacher put up math problems. I was really good at math. And I was in a class full of super smart people, right? And my teacher put up a whole bunch of math equations, right? All in a row. And they were basic to very intricate math equations. And she started with a very basic one and got the first one absolutely wrong. But all the consecutive math equations, even down to the most intricate, down to the last one, I think there was 12 of them, she got them all right. And I'll never forget this, man. All the kids were laughing and this and that. And, whispering, this, I think this was probably junior year, senior year in high school. And in my head, I'm like, why the hell did she get that first one wrong? on purpose. I already knew she did it on purpose. So I'm trying to think of like past that. And she did the most hardest question or math equation correct. And she was trying to teach us something, but I couldn't figure out why. So all the kids were talking shit, right? And laughing, this and that. And it reminded me because of, I hate to promote Facebook, but it was on Facebook, something similar to that. And the whole reasoning was, okay, so what do you guys think? She turns around and asks that. And the kids were like all laughing. Well, it's funny because you got the first one wrong. And they're all laughing, this and that. And in my head, I'm still confused on why she did that. And she's like, well, this is the most valuable lesson you're going to learn because in this day and age, no matter how many rights you do and how much you achieve, everyone's going to look at what you did wrong and where you fucked up. And I think I tagged Trev on it, actually.
Well, dude.
Shout out Gino. Gino put up that post. Gino from the WCB OG crew.
Oh, yeah. See you at the shoot, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it reminded me. And you know what? My teacher did the same thing back in the day in high school. That's awesome.
You know, it's not only a people and society thing, but if you think about it, that's a personal thing. Because, okay, how many deer have I killed? Perfect, execute, shot through the heart. I don't know. It's going to take me a while, fingers and toes, to count them up, for real. But I remember specifically the ones that I fucked up.
Yep.
Even if they were the hard ones or the easy ones. So just like you're saying, it's always the failures that seem to stand out, whether it's other people looking or, I don't know, even my self-reflection. It's where I failed that I remember the most and look at and kind of stick on the most.
And you're 100% right on that, man. Because, I mean, even in a personal level, that's how we learn, man. Because we don't want to repeat the fuck-ups. Is what it boils down to. And it's funny you bring that up.
Which is where we started this, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, Trev? He's just nodding.
Was that nails on a chalkboard, I heard?
No, he just put his phone down because he was fucking off a bit. Right now, he's a bit on autopilot because, you know, there's not much he has to do right now. But... Stevie Mo, we need to borrow that dunce cap. We'll get it back to you, I am sure. But we need to borrow that dunce cap real quick. Trev's giving you the mental middle finger right now. Yeah, let's backtrack a bit and kind of go back to home field and let the listeners know how you met us over here in the East Coast.
All right, so I mean, I guess really it was, you know, how myself and so many others have been getting connected, and that is through the working class crew. I believe you said you may have been aware of some of my videos and what I was doing before that. But, you know, it really wasn't until I had done an episode and you had done an episode, I think, that we had started talking between us. You know, and to be honest, it fucking like snowballed so quick. I honestly don't even know where it started, where it went from, you know, us sending a random message back and forth to talking damn near daily.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. What episode were you? 180? No.
I don't know. Last time I said on a podcast what episode it was, I said the wrong number, and that's fine because Kurt still spelled my name wrong, so I'm okay with giving out the wrong number. You know, it's fucked up, Mel. Okay, straight up. In Kurt's defense, he sent me a picture of it and was like, "Are you cool with this art?" And I'm like, "Yeah, brother, go with it." With my name spelled wrong right there. So I approved it. I ain't giving Kurt shit on it. But he did spell it wrong the second time, so I, you know, busted his balls a little bit for that. But no, I straight up told him, I'm like, yeah, everything's good, brother. Go with it. And someone's like, yeah, your name's wrong. Like, fuck.
If my memory serves me correct, I think it was 188 was your episode.
188, 189. I know it was just before 200. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
because the reason I remember, right? I think it was 188. And the reason I remember is because there was I think they like put a preemptive post before releasing the episode, and it had your logo on it on a mask with some stickers. I was like, yo, I know that logo. I'm like, where did I see this? And I actually thought I met you, bringing it back. I actually thought
That's right.
Yeah, I thought I met you at a show around your area where you live. And they're like, nah, that wasn't me, man. I'm like, really? I'm like, where the fuck? Because my memory's shot, man. You know what I mean? It's like, not that it's a blur, but I'm involved in so much. I got my fingers dipped in everything that everything kind of blends together. But I honestly thought I shook your hands, and come to find out, I was mistaken. And then from there, it just kind of like sparked the conversation. Like you said, I was 207, so shortly thereafter, that's when we kind of just started shooting messages back and forth, and it really did snowball to where we're at today, man. It's like you've been on plenty of our episodes. You've been, not knocking boots, but you know what I mean? Like fist bumping all these motherfuckers in trade shows.
Don't get porn star mad at me encroaching on his industry. Let's keep all that quiet.
Well, you are quite the stud, man. I do have to say so. For all you single ladies out there, Garrett Benner is single. So shout out. Ope, as they say out in the Midwest. Ope.
Whoop.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's pretty cool how just the industry and podcasting itself kind of brings people together. That's pretty dope.
Well,
man.
yeah, and I mean, people, I mean, it's magnetism. Anything kind of tends to gravitate. And, there's a lot of things that you and I look at so differently. But I don't know. It kind of seems like small things you and I look at differently in different perspective, but on the large scale, we see things very similar and have the same kind of creative approaches to things. So yeah, where it just kind of clicked, with you and the rest of the East Coast crew. So,
you know what? That's kind of vague. Can you elaborate a little bit? Because I'm sure like listeners like hanging on a string with that last statement.
So yeah, I guess me and D-Rock, you and I, we've been talking damn near daily, just because of all the different avenues that you're putting yourself into a world that I've kind of been self-immersed in for a little bit. And I never say I'm in the hunting industry because I don't make money from the hunting industry. This isn't my living. So I don't look at myself as being part of the industry. I see so little TV shows and shit. I feel like I'm still outside the industry. I don't know the people like you do and everything. That's what I mean about we have different approaches to things, but you and I look at very similar things as far as presentation, expansion, overall goals, ways to improve things, not just go with them. We're always just kind of, it's the chess match, dude. You're not looking at, who you're taking out next. You're looking at the setup down the board, down the road, the long game of shit,
Word. I can agree on that. So what perfect way to segue into making things better. Let's dive right into how you've been working with Matt out on a limb and the new camera arm.
Yeah, dude.
But start from the beginning, though, because it was funny as shit, and a lot of people might say, is borderline, which is a new segment we started this episode, the borderline issues at hand. So why don't you bounce off that kind of Mexican, borderline Mexican corral type scenario, how you experienced a certain product, and you had... not initially, but you had good kind of fate with it, and then something happened, and you got treated poorly. So let's start from there and branch into out on the limb.
I mean, you really want me to break out the firepower if we're going Mexican border patrol style, I guess. But
hell yeah, corral them up, man. We're running all over the desert.
All right, well, yeah. I mean, I'll say straight up what happened, and I'm not gonna say, I won't say the brand name. Anybody that really wants to find this out, it's not hard to figure out. You can look into my shit, and it's pretty fucking plain to see. But yeah, man, I've been self-filming, before probably anyone really started self-filming. Because I saw the guys on TV and everything when I was a kid, and I kind of always wanted to be like a pro bass fisherman,
Yeah.
And because I just fished more when I was a kid and all. And then I started skateboarding, wanted to be a pro skateboarder and film that. Well, then when I got into hunting, same thing. I wanted to take the camera. I wanted to get crazy camera angles. But, some kid from Maryland that lives on a half acre surrounded by other houses with, no hunting experience and shit, you don't really have a way to get into it besides just getting into it. So I started filming myself and everything and just, buying the cheapest arms I could usually because that's what I could afford. And then kind of half Frankenstein in pieces from one and another and everything else. So a couple years ago, another system came out that I thought looked good. I saw a lot of advantages to it. It certainly wasn't a perfect system, but to me at the time, it looked like it may be the best commercial option.
Yeah, almost to the seventh element, right?
Similar, something like that. I don't know. You'll see, fuck them something. You'll see it. So I invested a lot of money in it. I bought kind of their most expensive mounts. I bought the most expensive arm. I was talking with the guys that designed it and made it, and actually even gave a little input. And I ended up, by the time I bought the camera arm system, all the different mounts and everything else, I had spent over $500. And I mean,
to hold your damn camera.
Yeah, that doesn't include the camera or anything else. And I mean, that was a substantial investment. To I think pretty much anyone doing this, $500 isn't easy to swallow, and it's a lot harder for some of us to swallow than others. So,
my bad.
They didn't have the third arm section at the show when I purchased everything, so I got it through the website when they had it available, and it didn't have a way to adjust the bottom tension on it. So I just simply drilled and tapped it the same as the rest of their knobs. And I called up the company and said, hey, I need to get another knob from you. And they're like, well, we don't have one. I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't have one? And it's like, here's what's going on. I need one. He's like, I can't give you one. To do that, I'd have to break apart another complete camera arm system. I was like, well, I'm not asking you to give me one. I'll buy it. And he's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, look, dude, I know how inventory works. You don't wait until you're out of one part you need to continue building everything. You restock. Like, it's not like if you take one off this arm, you're going to never get another bolt again. And after spending $500 with their camera system, after promoting them and doing everything else, they wouldn't even sell me a fucking bolt. So I told the dude right then and there, I was like, well, if that's the way you want to handle this, that's fine. But if you're not going to sell me one bolt, I'm going to be sure I cost you 100 of the full camera arm systems, since that's what you think you're going to lose is one. And so that was my first mission, and I started putting out videos. And it was just a poorly thought out fucking system. I mean, it does have some advantages, but there's a lot of poorly thought out elements to it. So I went back to my Frankenstein shit. I about threw that fucking thing out of the tree the third time I snuck in the woods like a ninja And I got up in the tree, and then I go to put the arm in the base, and it's like fucking like Trev back there nails on a chalkboard shit, like throughout the woods. And I'm like, fuck this thing. And I literally threw it out the tree the one day and then climbed down and went home. And that's when I was like, all right. So after I posted these videos shitting all over them, everybody's asking me, all right, what do you use? What do you recommend? And I didn't have anything I could recommend. And I'm like, well, what I use, I made. And I had enough guys hitting me up that I was like, man, maybe I really do need to think about making this into a production. And then I've known Matt Garris out on a limb manufacturing for a few years. I've known Drew Walter from Wild Edge for a few years.
AKA Boneyard.
They recently kind of came together on a collaboration of stuff, and Drew called me. He's like,
that your boy made that happen easily for Wild Edge.
He called me. He's like, what's up with this dude Matt? And I was like, I don't know him real well, but I know him well enough that I think he's the kind of guy that a handshake means what it's supposed to. And he said, done. And I had no idea what was going on. And come to find out a little bit later, that was the birth of the Perch. So just through the experience they had together and seeing the other camera arm
the reason
systems,
why we're pro-gay, right?
Pro-gay?
Yeah, I mean, two guys came together in the birth of the Perch. I mean, shit.
Is that because I'm drinking a pink smoothie shop? You calling me gay, boy?
I'm just saying is we promote every style of sexual preference hunter to dive in, man. Just reach out to us, We don't discriminate.
Your rainbow.
Yes.
I don't care if you would do your thing, man.
As long as you're killing shit.
Here's my whole thing in life.
All right.
Everything I break shit down to comes down to two questions. And one must be a yes, and one must be a no. And this is how I break down everything. Question one, does it make you happy, or are you going to enjoy it? That must always be a yes. Question number two, are you hurting anyone else? That must always be a no. So I don't give a fuck what you're doing if you enjoy it and you're not hurting anyone else. So fly your gay flag, your whatever flag. I really don't care, man. Do your thing.
Eat your Lucky Charms, but make sure you kill shit ethically is what we're trying to say.
Exactly. All right, because then you're hurting someone or something if you're not doing it ethically. Like I said, everything can pretty much go back to question 1 and 2.
Word. So yeah, back to the birth of the Perch and on the limb and the camera.
Yeah, so everything went well with the Perch, and I knew of Matt's camera arm, and I still Matt's holding me to this, and I still tell him it's going to happen. The 0360 arm that Matt makes, the overhead camera arm system, will become the industry standard for professional filming whitetail hunts from a tree. That will happen. Just enough people don't know about it yet, know the advantages of it yet.
Has this been on a podcast yet?
What, the 0360?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's talked about it.
On a podcast?
I don't know, to be honest. But, I mean, it's an overhead system that is adjustable and moves fluid, and it comes down and moves just like a dentist moves the light over top of you. Can move dope. That thing anywhere they want with one hand. You let it go, it sits still.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's fucking ingenious. When I saw it, I started laughing, and Matt looked at me. He said, "What?" He said, "It really works." And I said, "That's not why I'm laughing, dude." I said, "I thought of a camera arm like this like 6 years ago when I was laying in a dentist chair." And he's like, "Well, I thought about it from a dentist light I use over my work table." So yeah, Matt and I had talked a while. I knew his shit was top of the line, and I knew Matt could take my Frankenstein camera build between what I actually had made and what I had in my head. And, you know, between the two of us, we could create a superior system. And I've now got the second prototype of it. And I've got videos of it that are on most of the saddle pages, as well as my personal Facebook. That's where you can find most of it. I have videos for the prototype 1 and 2. But what makes this camera arm unique is it's light. It's small. The whole thing only weighs 3 pounds.
What do you have a name for it yet or no?
I think I'm going to call it the Assassin Reach.
Oh, I like that.
That you heard it first here on East Coast. I guess I name dropped it right there. It's been coined. The Assassin Reach. It's official. Shabeen, cheers to that, fellas.
Shabeen.
Shabeen. So, yeah, stuff. We're going to call it that. The Assassin Reach. So it's a very small base that has a shoulder ball mount that there's no tools that you need to carry around and make a bunch of fucking noise or drop out of a tree. Not saying anything against any other camera arm systems. I'm just saying.
Not the seventh element.
Right. So
or six arrow quiver.
I looked at every camera arm system I've had, and I looked at everything I wanted, and I was like, all right, how can we make this possible? And Matt and I started bouncing this back and forth, and we have a small base that goes onto the tree via a cam strap, a cam buckle, versus a ratchet. So you're already cutting out a lot of weight and a lot of noise. And you're not sacrificing the hold to the tree in any way. The next part to it is there's a single locking lever. You lift the lever up, and it frees the shoulder ball mount that you can adjust pretty much to just about any situation you're going to find yourself in. You can put it on a tree that's vertical, a tree that's crooked. You can even mount it on a branch next to you. This mount gives you full shoulder bolt freedom to shoulder mount freedom to move this thing around. And when you got it in place, you just push the lever down and it locks the ball in place. You then drop your camera arm in. It's a 3-piece arm. I have a video to show you why it's a 3-segment versus a 2-segment. There may be some other shitty other camera arm in that video. I can't remember. You'll just have to watch it and find out. But so I found the 3-piece superior, and there's reasons why, and I explain all them. If you want a visual, I guess go see that. But one of the main things, if you think about a 2-piece arm, when you fold it in half, your camera is now against the tree. So when you have the camera at its shortest, your camera is banging against the tree and shit. It's back in the tree. So with the 3-piece arm, when you fold it down completely small, your camera is still out at the end, which gives you a lot more control. And it gives you a lot more ability to wrap around your body or wrap around the tree or some of these funky situations. Like I said, I've been self-filming for over a decade, and I've always gone back to the 3-piece. I try 2 pieces, and I always end up going back to the 3. And Shabeen burp. And one of the main things that we did with this is, one of the ways we were able to keep this so small for the mobile hunters, the saddle hunters, the self-filmers, is we use solid aluminum bar. Everything else in the market you'll find is hollow tubing, whether it be aluminum, steel, carbon fiber. Most of them are aluminum tubing, but this isn't tubing. This is solid bar, solid aluminum bar. And that gives us noise dampening. It gives us strength in a small package. It's surprisingly lightweight. and it adds extra level of rigidity and stiffness to take out camera bounce. So I believe this is the only camera arm out there that's solid. To be honest, I don't know of any other system that uses solid arms. Because you would think solid bar is heavy. You want something lightweight. Well, when you go lightweight, you need something big enough to not flex and be able to handle the weight. So, yeah, we kind of went the opposite of it. Now, I'm not going to lie. Like I do everything, I break shit. Everything I touch, I end up breaking. So the first prototype Matt sent me, I just kept stressing the thing until I did break it. And I was like, all right, I found our weakest point, and here's what I think we should do. He's like, I had a feeling that was going to happen, and he already knew where it broke before I even showed him. And he's like, here's the solution. Then he sent me a picture. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, that'll do it. So we added a small cross member on the bottom. There's just a second cross brace that goes to the pin that goes in the shoulder mount. So this gives you all the strength you could ever need, and it takes out nearly all the bounce in the camera arm, because that's where all your bounce comes from, where your arm meets your shoulder base or your mount.
It's pretty amazing, the design, though, because just to paint the picture in layman's terms, if you could just picture a human being with ball and socket, rotator cuff, and your arm extending, that's basically what it is, except for instead of your arm being able to go from like a, not to correlate it with this, but like a rainbow motion or an arch.
It's just like a shoulder socket.
Yeah. It's a shoulder
up,
socket.
Down, left, right, and
right.
all the rotation and tilt in between.
And then your elbow is a swivel versus an arch move.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's dope because the way that you guys designed it, I love it, because you can keep the swivel and camera close to the trunk of the tree that you're on, or you can actually swivel it out past it. The design is unreal, man. It's
exactly
unreal.
like
Nothing
I said.
like
I've been doing it for so many years. I've kind of found what works, and we haven't put it out yet. We've only put out videos of the prototype, and it's been pretty overwhelming. There's been one snake in the grass, sneaky fuck, that tried to buy the camera arm system out from underneath.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many
limb.
out there.
Yeah, he went directly to Matt and tried to buy my.
Did he have a birthday recently?
Yeah. I don't know. All I can say is I was wrong, because to call Matt after the situation he started, he must have a set of balls. So I must have been wrong about that. But anyway, and probably one of the most flattering messages I got was from another company. I don't want to mention them, but another company that I'll mention them at some point down the road. Put it that way. Don't worry, guys. I'll get you in here. But I don't want to mention them right now in this. They were making a camera arm system. They make some other components for hunting, and they have been in development of a camera arm system. And the guy sent me a message and said, hey, we've been working on a camera arm system for a while, and just saw your videos, and what you've created is better than everything we've been working on, and we don't think we're going to even find a way to beat that, because yours is already leaps and bounds better. So we're pulling the plug on it. So that was probably one of the most flattering messages I got, is another camera arm system said, yeah, yours is good enough. We're just pulling the plug on ours.
Damn, my jigga. You just pulling plugs on motherfuckers.
I mean,
that's
taking
crazy.
out competition I didn't even know I had, you know what I mean?
Pullin Plugs. Noted.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can't wait. Boneyard just got one of these to play with. He sent me a message and he said, dude, I just got a minute to look at this and play with it. He said, and I'm fucking blown away.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Boneyard. He gets minutes out the day to play with shit, you know? So
but you don't need long with this thing to know that this is a superior camera arm system. I mean, it weighs only 3 pounds. It folds down small enough to fit in your pocket. It can hold over 10 pounds at full extension, full range of motion, and still hold level. If your camera system is bigger than that, I mean, you're doing Hollywood filming, not hunting filming. You know what I mean?
Word. So let's segue a hard right turn into Tack Driver. And let our new listeners know what recently happened, somewhat recently, out of the trade show season, and how you have a kill down for Tack Driver.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. I guess because I'm not in deer season and full-blown hunt mode, it hasn't been on my mind and focus as much as it should be in promotion, probably. Because I really haven't talked about this. I don't think mentioned it really since working class. So a lot of people may not know that, I am now filming as the Modern Assassin with Tack Driver TV for the Pursuit channel.
Hell yeah.
And with the help of my brothers out in Ohio, Keith and Ryan, I have my first kill for an episode, and that was almost decapping a turkey out there in Ohio with my Elite and Steady form. I tell you, have you got a chance to throw that Steady form on your bow yet and play with it?
No, actually, I've been patiently waiting for other accessories to come in so I could just completely build my bow and have that together. But
I mean, you know me, I'm no bullshit, dude. If there's something I don't want to say, I'll just not bring it up. I won't bullshit. I like that Steady form, dude.
Isn't
At first, I was questionable about it. I get it. And, you pick the bows up at the show and you feel it, whatever. And it's like, okay, I understand it, whatever. But then because they are the premier sponsor for Tack Driver TV is the Steady form. So talking to Nick, he said, look, man, I really want you to shoot a Steady form on your bow. And, you know me, that's the reason I don't have sponsors, dude. I don't want to use anything just because... I only want to use what I want to use, and I don't want to feel obligated to use anything or have anything. And
so what
I
you're
put
saying,
that Steady form on my bow and started playing with it, and it works differently than I expected. And I like the way it works.
So what you're saying in so many words, it's beneficial to know a certain Mexican.
I believe I hooked the Mexican up with Nick in this, but originally, you're getting yours hooked up now.
Originally, yeah, but I got returned the favor. Word.
Yeah, I know. You're always working on them underground tunnels and networking
shit. Straight up. But man.
So and for real, what D-Rock's talking about right now is. Anybody that's familiar with me and my shit knows that I'm not, I guess maybe not cut out for TV or your typical what you see on TV right now. So I kind of put it out of my head or at least out of my focus to try to do anything with TV. And I've just been focusing on my own videos and doing my own shit. And, Nick Albanese being an East Coast dude, he's another straight up raw real no bullshit type dude, And so D-Rock approached Nick and was like, so what do you talking about me, he said, Garrett's got some good shit here. What do you think about? And he's like, but he's really edgy. And Nick's like, well, I like his shit and I like his edge. So you know, all the years that I've known Nick, I guess it was just one of those things I never brought up because I thought he'd never be interested in having someone my style on there, and he never brought it up because he figured, well, he don't take sponsors or want to be on fucking TV. So it's just kind of an unspoken thing until until the underground Mexicans snuck in there and got part of the crew.
Hey, sometimes that's all you need is just a little Mexican in your garden.
You know, it's like,
Fuck
you know,
the gnome.
Nick and I are just friends. We're happy. We're hunting. And then next thing you know, you invite the Mexican friend. He's like, okay, here's what we're going to do to shake shit up, fellas. You know, he's just got to jump in there and come up with some shit to spice up the party.
Hey, everyone needs some Mexican spice in your life.
So back to it. I'm now filming as the Modern Assassin with Tack Driver TV. I'm fucking stoked. You can bet your ass that this camera arm is going to be what I'm filming my whitetail hunts from. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it. And I guess just to take this another direction, because this is kind of a lot of how this came up, is one of the reasons I worked so hard to get this camera arm out now. And I guess I should say this now too. We are working on getting manufacturing cost right now and a manufacturing plan so we can get a price and pre-order set. We are doing everything we can to get the pre-orders to the hunters that ask for them by September for hunting season. We're working really hard to do that.
That's dope. And what perfect segue to blend into how you're like extremely affiliated with not only the saddle hunting community, but Wild Edge and arrow hunting.
You know, and that's exactly where I was going to take it, because I had a saddle last year. I've known Drew for a while, and Drew's pushed me to saddle hunt. And, you know, he didn't have to push me. Literally, I saw it, and I'm like, I fucking love it. One problem, I film my own hunts. And I, at the time, didn't see a system that would work for me to where I felt comfortable over using my climber for my filming, because if a big buck comes in,
what kind of
and
climber
he's
though?
not going to die on film, he's not going to die.
Word. What? I'm just curious, what kind of climber you use? Because I use a climber too.
I have a alpha sit and climb, Lone Wolf alpha sit and climb. Then of course I've modified it a little bit, but yeah, there's not much I had to do to it. I just do shit a little bit differently, but I mean, I've killed so many fucking deer out of that thing, and I think I bought it in probably like 2008. And I have had no problems with it whatsoever. And I've loved that thing. I've killed a lot of deer from it. But like I said, when I saw the saddle, I kind of
game changer.
It was like, man, this is kind of a no-brainer. But I couldn't figure out how I felt comfortable filming in it. So last season, my season changed a lot mid-season. A property that I was kind of relying on and was thinking, well, I can hunt here, and I pretty much know as long as I put my time in at the right time, I can get a good one out of here. So I really wasn't too stressed about it. And that property ended up being one that I can't hunt. I had a lot of problem with dogs this year, as far as people just letting their dogs run deer, which is illegal in Maryland. And some other issues to where I literally, mid-rut, like during the time you want to be in your tree, I abandoned all my prop land scouting.
Oh, no.
So,
yo, can you repeat that real quick? Because we lost you for like a split second.
My bad. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
So I lost a lot of, I just had a lot of fucked up shit going on my private pieces. So I said, all right, it's time to go public. And I just started at the time of year, the first, second, basically it was right around the second week in November, I think it was, like crunch time in the rut. I'm now going out blind into these public lands and scouting and trying to figure shit out. And, I had a good one that I should have killed and kind of got away from me. And I saw one of the biggest deer I've ever seen in my fucking life. But I was just getting in a moment too late in the game to put the pieces together. I was always just a step behind because I started a step behind. But everything that I learned last season, I have no doubt that between what I've learned last season with the new way that the new camera arm that I've developed and the way it's going to allow me to film and the freedom I will have to do it and the freedom the saddle will allow me to get back into public lands further, deeper, and on smaller trees, and the freedom that the Wild Edge steps will give me to climb virtually any tree I want to take the time to get up in. I'm pretty fucking confident that for Tack Driver TV this year, I will be in my Arrow Hunter saddle, perched up, and filming a good public land buck on film with the camera arm system I've developed.
Insane, man. That's insane.
That's my goal, and I think it's an attainable goal. It's one I'm obviously going to have to work at, but it's an attainable goal, and that's what I've set my sights to this year.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Hey, I just have a quick question because I'm a bit of a fanboy, and I don't mind admitting it because, honestly, man, I look up to a lot of people, and most of the people I look up to are my closest friends, and you're one of them. Not to tickle your balls or anything, but I remember a specific video where it was, I believe, a muzzleloader, and you almost flew off your own fucking stand shooting it. Would you ever... The question that arises in my head, would you ever muzzleloader hunt out of a saddle?
Oh, fuck yeah. It'll actually make way more sense. There'll be less chance of me blowing my ass out of the tree. Okay, so for people that don't know, what he's talking about is, I almost blew myself out the fucking tree with the muzzleloader on an offside shot and 150 grain powder on a super tiny stand. And I almost blew myself out the tree with it.
But you got the kill, though.
Oh, damn right I did. That was my first sickest stag. So anybody that wants to see it, that's my YouTube video of my first, I think it's sickest stag with black powder is what it's titled, something like that. But that was my first stag. And so if you think about it, if you were on a tree stand, your typical lock-on tree stand, you don't have a rest anywhere unless you're using the tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're in a saddle, you're always facing center to the tree. So you can set your hand up on the tree, rest the gun on your hand, and anywhere that deer goes, you can kind of spin around and keep the tree in between you and the deer, as well as always have a rest. Ooh. No matter where that deer goes.
Ooh, you just heard it here. Yo, G, I just thought of an ingenious idea right now with your camera arm, right? Make an adapter to your camera arm for gun hunters.
You could do that. Bro. And you say that, and I know this dude that I kind of refer to as an ingenious hillbilly. His name is Matt Garris from Out on a Limb Manufacturing. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him.
I might have heard of him.
But he makes this insane camera arm system called the 0360 that will be the staple of hunting. But it also can be modified to hold a shotgun.
No shit.
For either someone that just shotgun or rifle, for someone that wants to shoot long range, someone that, say, maybe is younger, or someone that is disabled, and this arm he developed can actually even attach to the back of a wheelchair and come over like a scorpion tail to hold a firearm for a disabled hunter.
That is dope as fuck. I didn't even know that, man.
I know you didn't. That's why I went into it a little elaborately and dramatic, like, you know what I mean? But because that was completely organic. But for real, no, Matt has that developed, dude.
That's crazy, because I've been touching base with Matt on a more personal level, because I know he's just as busy as everyone else. And the last thing he needs to do is talk to a Mexican like me. But I had no idea about that, because I was trying to like kind of touch base to what I really would love to have is you, Boneyard, and Matt from Out on a Limb on the same podcast, along with Trevor once he's released out of punishment, and the porn star if he's like able to stop filming that fucking horn dog.
So once porn star pulls out and once Trevor busts out the school doors on the skateboard like Bart Simpson and everyone's all free, we'll make this shit happen.
Fuck yeah. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. So
No,
let's dive straight into your camo and how, I mean, no one knows about this shit.
No, I haven't talked about this. I think I maybe posted like 2 teaser pics on my Instagram story, not even my real Instagram, like feed shit, you know what I mean?
Because I kind of feel left out about this a little bit, but at the same time, you definitely fill me in on it. I feel like we need to fill in the listeners, and especially in the East Coast.
Okay, so, I mean, yeah, fuck it. I'll just go full bore on this, dude. Because really, it's you and it's you and Trevor and porn star and Boneyard that pushed this. You know, anybody that's been a listener for a while, you know, we all went to Iowa together for the Iowa Deer Classic to hang out with our boys from working class bow hunter, and to just go enjoy the Iowa Deer Classic. You know, Drew had Boneyard had Wild Edge there. You were doing your podcast, and while we were just on our way there, we were just all showing. You know, this is the first time that I've met Ryan in person. It's only the second time that I had met you and Trev in person. So we were all just, you know, showing each other hunting photos and pictures and videos and shit. And I randomly show them like, yo, look at this camo I've been working on. And you guys kind of say, yeah, that's dope, but not much was really said about it. You know what I mean? And it was after we got back. And I think it was maybe before we were going to do a podcast about the Iowa trip. You know, you guys all called me in a conference call, basically, and were like, yo, you really need to look deeper into bringing that camo to fruition. And, you know, I had always thought it was a good, interesting idea and base, but, you know, it really was you guys coming to me in that way and approaching that as an individual thing, like saying, yeah, look, this needs to happen. So, as you know, I try to create all my own shit all the time. I'm constantly just thinking how to improve anything, everything. And I've always wanted my own camouflage. So I actually started on that pattern probably like 3-4 years ago, believe it or not.
You know what? The gut of that, though.
And that's what I created 3 to 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So what I did was, I looked at pretty much every kind of camouflage I could, be it digital, be it breakup, be it a high definition, you know, everything from the way they're done to the layering systems and everything else. And then I thought about what was the original camouflage. And when I say original camouflage, I'm not talking about original printed on clothing camouflage. I'm talking about animals trying to fucking not get eaten in the wild original camouflage. Animals that life or death cannot be seen and spotted. That either to not fall to a predator or because they are predator to capture prey. So what I mean by that is I started looking at fish scales. I started looking at snake scales and patterns, and I started looking at bird feathers. And when you look at them collectively, they are usually series of random but repeated patterns that are a contrast of certain lowlights and highlights. And the contrast of low light and highlight is what creates a breakup, because it's a pattern, but then at the same time it's randomized to where it doesn't stick out as a pattern. And that is kind of what I used as the basis for what you're talking about, the guts of the camo I created that essentially kind of looks like snake scales. But the way I've chosen the highlights and lowlights of it, it's actually created like an optical illusion that gives a semi 3D effect to it. And for lack of better words, it just fucks your eyes up.
You know what? It's pretty insane. I'm glad you bring that up because what it reminds me of specifically is those like Magic Eye books. Remember those back in the day?
I have had so many people tell me exactly that. I feel like I'm looking at a Magic Eye book when I look at this camo.
Isn't that insane though? And
it is.
And the most dope part about it, because I know, and you heard it here first, East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is going to get the first prototypes of your camo clothing line, right?
I'll have that happen, brother.
All right, word.
You be damn sure of that.
All right, word.
You know, if anybody's getting shit, I'm hooking up the homies first.
Hell yeah. Even over Wild Edge. Wild Edge is already getting a little something.
Yeah, that's we'll talk about that just a little bit.
I got
further
you stumbling
after we get into the camo a little deeper. So
I got you stumbling, Jigga. Yo, I'm referring to.
We'll talk about that.
All right, word.
So I just want about the camo before we go into that aspect of where it's going.
And just wait. Let me cut you off, and I'm sorry, but just to paint the picture even more, this Magic Eye book camo. Actually, it's like subliminal messaging because every so often you see a Modern Assassin logo in it, right?
Yes. My logo is actually an integral part of the camo and the layering system in the camouflage.
Dude, it's insane, yo. I can't wait.
I needed another layer, and I had tried leaves and I had things like that, and I felt like, and you were one of the ones that even says you're getting away from the simplicity of what it was, and that's what I wanted to create. I wasn't looking for this elaborate high definition camo that looks perfect in that perfect situation. I'm looking for a camouflage that when you climb up a tree, you blend in. When you are on your way to a tree and something happens and you need to sit down against a tree, you blend in. I wanted something when you sit against a rock face, you blend in. You don't necessarily have to have a separate camouflage for each. And I found the way to do that was not with these high definition pictures, but the same way nature does. Those random repeated patterns with highlight and low light altercations. So that's what I created. My pattern, the illusion, the magic eye that D-Rock is talking about. It's two highlights and two lowlights. And what I then did from there is I overlaid it with some high definition tree bark. And because my first goal is to have this for a tree stand hunting camouflage or base of a tree camouflage. Since most of the time that's what you're in, that's what this is kind of specifically tailored to, even though it's going to work effectively across other types of backgrounds and situations. And yeah, so it really does just kind of fuck your eyes up and blend. So it works almost like a digital. It works almost like a high definition. It works very similar to a large blotch breakup camo, but then again, it has its own element to it that it's different than I think anything else out there.
And you know what? I'm gonna break my own rule. I usually follow an outline, as you know, because you've been in studio before. I'm actually going to jump forward. What is in the future for this camo? And get into a bit of detail, because you and I do talk about this a lot, because we both have a lot going on. Trev has a lot going on as well. It's like we try to dip our hands into many different ventures according to the outdoors and even outside of that. But what I'm specifically talking about, excuse me, is there is going to be an awesome new feed out there that we'll disclose on a latter episode. But that's something that you and I started talking about, and then, like you were saying before, kind of just urging you to get your camo into fruition, because that seemed to be the hotter ticket. And not only just that, like the future of your camo. I want to dip a little more into the clothing line aspect. Because of, I don't know, like maybe certain disclosures, we can't talk too much about the other thing coming out very soon, hopefully before deer season. I don't know the logistics of that, but the clothing line, like we even dipped into the matter of you're not even going to have zippers, right?
Okay, so
I know it's a loaded question. I'm sorry.
Well, it's no, it's not loaded. There's just a lot to address in it, because I think I've been getting a lot of these questions too. So hopefully the people listening right now, love y'all. Hope you guys are interested in this for what I'm saying here. So like I said, these random highlight, low light altercations, I've tailored this one to a tree bark by picking out highlights and lowlights within a treetop or tree base situation. Now, that being said, I can replace the tree bark with, say, a desert or rock face type of background and pick highlights and lowlights from that, which will give the camo the same illusion and same type of camouflage function, but will be tailored to more specific environments. Now, the camo, as long as it's received well, and after I answer you on that question you just asked, D-Rock, we'll get into where the camouflage is going to be revealed first. But you know, I know that just having a cool camo pattern or something that works, that I'm not going to break into the camo industry of clothing and shit like that. That if I want something, and you know how I am, it's going to have to be made by me, and it's going to have to be, in at least my eyes and most of my critics, superior to what's available. So I have gone directly to some sources for fabrics and everything else.
And we've been through a few before getting to that.
Yeah. And there's still, you know, and some of them stretch worldwide. But, you know, I basically told these guys that, look, if I am going to go into creating a garment, it's going to have to be made with equal or better materials than the most superior garments out there, and I want it closer to a working class budget. And I won't say any names, but you just think of your most expensive hunting gear. I'm pretty sure 90% of people, the same name just popped into their head.
A couple, yeah.
Yeah, but pretty much the most expensive hunting gear out there. Everybody knows about what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Their most expensive jacket, material-wise, consists of around $60 worth of material. So that's not a garment put together and constructed and everything else. That's just material. But so when I found that out, I decided, okay, I really think I can make a superior garment and have it available at, the budget like us, the working class budget, the guys that can't spend $600, $400 on a jacket.
Shout out working class
the guys
bowhunter.
that you want to spend, even spending $300 on a complete hunting system, like complete hunting garment outfit, is still getting up there and hard to swallow. But for superior gear, it's doable, and that's why I want to create superior gear. So what you're mentioning about the zippers, and I don't believe I'm the first to think of this. I believe there is someone else that does it. But instead of a cheap, shitty zipper that makes noise and catches your beard hairs and everything else, basically a zipper that's like an oversized Ziploc bag zipper. It's silent, it's windproof, it's waterproof, it's not ripping your hairs out. Instead of having, snaps and everything, have some magnet closures. There's also a few other things that, I've discussed with you that until I at least have them in prototype, I don't want to speak about. But, cool. There's just going to be lots of small things. Like, I don't know, if you look at the camera arm and you see the attention to detail I've paid to it and what I've put into it, I can promise you that every level of detail and function as a hunting garment will be thought out fully for a hunting garment.
Amen. Yo, I'm so looking forward to it, man. So looking forward to that. It's been a long time coming, and I mean,
like I said, long time coming. I started developing that pattern 3 or 4 years ago, and then every few months I might, let me fuck with that a little bit. But it's kind of just been on the back burner for 3 to 4 years until you guys kind of put the spark under my ass of like, dude, this is something different. This could be something legit. And Boneyard, he knows. I've put several weeks of work into this, and I mean several work week hours, if that makes sense. Like,
oh yeah, we don't sleep.
I'm probably nearing 100 hours into this camouflage
easily. We don't sleep.
Yeah.
We don't sleep.
Yeah. Which you think of that's kind of outrageous, but yeah, I've probably got close to 100 hours in this camouflage.
Man, and you know what? This is not to jump towards the end of the episode because we're not even there yet, but positivity.
No, I got plenty more shebeens that are still cold. We ain't nowhere near end.
Right, and I got Elijah by my side, so this Baptist preacher is preaching to me. Nice.
What up, Craig?
But yeah, man, that's what it takes sometimes is just the collaboration of the right people. It really inspires you. Shout out to Kurt Geyer. That's his hand tattoo. Inspires, and that's what it takes is being around the people that drive you, the people that keep you in check, the people that tell you when you fuck up, but the people that push you to be your best. And that's what we try to do, man. It's just so simple, and it's so crazy because we were talking about this as soon as we started this episode, the snakes in the grass, man. And,
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them.
And it's just insane.
And to speak about working class, I've said this to Kurt before. I I guess kind of briefly, Kurt and I do talk occasionally, but it's not very much. You know, I'm not like you as far as keeping up with everybody and shit. I'm too fucking scatterbrained, dude. But I've said this to Kurt, and just like, you know, I said, it's kind of the connect meeting you and the East Coast crew and everything, but Working Class has connected a fuck ton of like-minded individuals like us. You know, most of the people that are within my Instagram feed and my Facebook feed anymore are all somehow tied in and associated with Working Class, you know, as like fans and everything else. But from that page, or people that maybe found out about me from a podcast or whatever else. And, you know, I credit them boys a lot for where I am, just like you kind of do. And I don't mean that they kind of got me the exposure I needed or whatever. I mean more, they have opened the doors for opportunity. I've said this before, but it was only a few years ago. If we made it known we were having an alcoholic drink right now, you'd have no sponsors.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you know, companies like the Outdoor Group and HHA and you know, some other companies took the leap with them. And I really do feel that they have shown the industry that there is a way to be responsible and educated and still have a good time and fuck off. And there is an overlap between the two. And I think they're opening the doors to what I always thought was missing from the industry, to where I didn't really get a part of it and started my own shit in the first place. So I really do think it's guys, like you said, like Working Class, inspiring and opening up to open up opportunities to what the industry is starting to become. Because, I mean, maybe it's because I'm becoming more involved in it. I feel like maybe I'm seeing more than I did before, but I feel like it's becoming a new animal.
And to segue, or not even a segue, but to like really paint a bigger picture, because this is what we're in it for, is when you talk about this right now, specifically, what I picture in my head is that one picture in Ohio, man. Can you kind of touch on that a bit?
I know which picture you're talking about. Yeah. I wish I knew who said it, who commented it, so I could give them a shout out. But someone said one day this picture is going to be iconic, and you know, I kind of felt that way. But you know, being humble, you don't really look at it like that. And then after, I guess, kind of the whole weekend was over and everything, and step back, and it's like, well, shit, you know, it very well could be. It's a picture of, you know, you, Kurt Geyer, Cody DeQuisto, and myself. And a lot of people feel that the way that we approach things kind of is the new lead of what the new approach to hunting in the industry and just fucking people are like now, if that makes sense.
And to add to that, there's so many.
I think we've brought a level of, I hate to say, I'm going to say it the same way Kurt does, just to do it. We're just real. No, I like that. I think what it is that we are real and we are relatable because we are not pretend. And I think that's really the difference, is that whatever you want to call it, I don't give a fuck how you want to label us, anything else. I think we are all pretty transparent. And I think that goes a long way. And I think that is not all that's the new face of the industry, as well as just kind of the new face of everything is going to be transparency. And I guess what's your feelings since you brought that picture up? What's your takeaway on that?
Well, my takeaway specifically actually is there's so many more people that we could have added to that photo that we represent as a whole. Because there's a lot of hold on, hear me out, G. Hear me out for a second. Is just the main reason I say that is because there's people behind us that a lot of people don't see that made us to that picture, if that makes any sense. Like for myself, here representing Connecticut, Trevor made me into that picture. Porn star Ryan the porn star made me into that picture. My family made me into that picture. The shout out Jason Grenier out of Wolcott, Connecticut. He introduced me to and pushed me into whitetail hunting. He's a representative of that picture. Like, it's just there's so many people that we don't see behind that picture that made us into that one form of being raw, real, no bullshit. You know, your quote that's in our intro. Like, it's just so much to it that maybe a lot of the listeners don't really understand. And if the only way they probably could understand is just going to Working Class Bowhunters starting from episode 1, to East Coast Bowhunting Podcast starting from episode 1, and maybe new podcasts yet to come to fruition that may happen in the very near future. It's like, that's how they're going to learn all this. That, yeah, a Kurt Geyer, a Cody DeQuisto, a Garrett Benner, a D-Rock Clark, like, maybe they are the new quote-unquote leaders or face of the next generation. But guess what? They were made from a shit ton of other people that influenced just that and gave them the courage to really step forward. Because
100%. And what I was going to interject there was the fact that, yeah, there was a lot of people, you know, and some of them kind of right next to us or right across the aisle that could have been included in the picture, but it was just an organic thing. Hey, let's get a picture real quick.
It
wasn't like, let's get a picture, just the four of us.
Right.
It was just like, yo, here's a camera. Someone snap a picture real quick.
Yeah.
And that's
crazy.
The beauty of it, was the organic of it. And you know, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm going to be one of the new faces of the industry and this is how it is. But I'm saying I've seen kind of what Working Class has provoked and opened up. And I'm going to just continue to do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Amen.
And
that's what we all do.
What I want to do is what I've already been doing. So if it takes me somewhere, fine. I'm not saying, oh, we are the new face of the industry. I'm just saying the industry is changing. Bullshit is getting filtered out. And things are going to be different. And I honestly, I attribute a good bit of that to Working Class and Kurt, because, you know, I think there's a lot that Kurt doesn't even realize. I mean, Kurt doesn't realize how often I'm engaging with his other podcast listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Where you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, he doesn't realize that, you know, that I'm talking to some other companies and stuff that maybe heard me on Working Class.
Yep.
Or just, you know, things like that.
All right, so we're back. That was a quick little Trev's blooper. So we were at different companies that might have heard you on Working Class.
Stevie Mo, I wasn't kidding about that dunce cap, brother. I'm going to need that thing.
That's gonna be good.
Get another chalkboard out. I'm sure the Mexican can smuggle one from somewhere real quick. No, I mean, okay, I guess what I was trying to say is, yes, Working Class is, I believe they have been kind of a congregation point of a different community within the hunting industry. I think that's a better way to say it, that they've been kind of a central hub for people like myself, like you, like-minded people that just aren't in that normal cookie cutter. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a congregation of the outliers. And I think just a very strong community is being built from it, and things may start to change in the industry, just how things are done.
Amen,
think
brother.
about the industry's been stagnant from the 80s. What is the hunting industry? The hunting industry is trying to catch it on film, most of the time recapturing and replaying and reenacting shots, not the actual shot on the animal, but clips of, guys grabbing their bow and everything. And they're throwing the Hollywood into the real shit of it, which I get, it's entertainment, but then it's the same thing. Every show is basically the same. You are trying to show a hunting show that's not going to offend any anti-hunters. And you know what I mean? They're all kind of the same. And that model is it's going to change. And it has started to change already, obviously. But, you can look at any hunting show basically through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and they're all the same format. It's all the same shit, just a different era, newer camera, newer compound bow.
Yeah, yep. And you know what? Back to that one picture, man, it's like, I feel like, and you know what? Like you said, it was totally organic. Like, we weren't thinking anything other than like, oh, let's get a picture together, and that's it. But it's because what we've experienced, not only like building up to it, as individuals, and then we find ourselves at the same trade show multiple times, and this one certain trade show is just like, let's just get a picture together. And it was almost like, obviously with anything good comes some hate, but it was almost like one of those pictures, like, I don't want to say it went viral, because I don't want to say it's like multiple hundreds of thousands of likes, but in a unison, it was up there, man. And it was almost all positive feedback. And then you saw in different forms, because each one of us posted it in different perspectives. Like some was in black and gray, some was more artistic, and you just saw in each one's eyes, if that makes any sense. And just, it was really gratifying for the comments that we saw. It's validation. We're doing something right, man. And we're headed towards the right direction, because we're all on the same realm of conservation, and that's the end of it. But at the same time, we bring something different in our own avenues, and we each have a different team to bring to the table that basically formed us and sculpted us. And that's the beauty of it, man. That's the best part that I take away about that.
Cheers to that, Shabeen.
So, I know I jumped ahead on the future. I think this is perfect time to dive into your bow hunting venture, man, because that's on fire. It's been on fire. You had East Coast Trev down there recently. Then Keith Chirac and his wife Steph is from Tattooed and Wild. Shit's on fire, It's like I'm itching to get down there.
Yeah, I've drawn the bow back a hell of a lot. I can't even think of how many shots I've sent into the water the past couple weeks, man. Trev came down. We battled some weather and conditions, but we made it happen every night, and out there a couple hours and not much going on, and then like anything else, it just switches on and we start stacking shit. Can you there's one picture that stands out of the whole, like, obviously I'm in the in circle and I see all the videos and the clips and even some shit that doesn't even get posted. There's one picture in particular that I absolutely love. It's of Trev with this most vulnerable look on his face with the Death Wish coffee, promo code East Coast 10, holding up two snakeheads? Was it 2 snakeheads? And he's on 2 knees, no homo, almost like he's getting knighted.
Can you explain that picture
I
a bit?
believe it was Keith that said that. He's like, he looks like he's about to be indoctrinated into the bow fishing world. I think Trev got his indoctrination. He learned what the life was about. You know.
So what
out.
happened right there with that picture? I'm just curious, man.
Well, we were just we were just getting pictures of everything, and we're like, Trev, get in the mess of that shit. Show all your haters what you shot.
That's awesome.
You know? So that's exactly what it was about. It was, because, man, so I was literally standing next to Trevor for almost all that shit you were talking about on another episode about the carp fishermen coming after him and everything. Like, I'm standing next to him as his phone's going off with all these fucking messages and shit. And a lot of it was ridiculous. And, Trev will tell you, there's a lot of things like, he's like, oh, well, the carp fishermen say this. I'm like, you want me to prove them wrong right now? I'll go show you. Even the cloudiness, the way they disturb the water, to all kinds of shit. But, yeah, man, the fishing's been on fire.
That's dope, man. I'm still waiting for that price quote for the RPM. Still waiting.
Oh, you want a nitro?
Yo, I mean, shout them out, man, because that's the shit. That's the shit.
Oh yeah, most of it. So we have RPM strikers and RPM nitros, on the boat. So depending what is going on and who's shooting, depends what we go. But yeah, man, I absolutely love the RPM bows. Yeah, you can't go wrong with them. And I pretty much only use RPM tips.
It's all about the tip.
They're sick. Yep. Because you got to get a lot more than just a tip in. You need a good tip to lead the way. You know what I'm saying?
You need that tip to anchor to make shit happen.
You got to get that tip buried in deep, brother. That's how you're going to bring them in.
Oh, damn.
Try to punch all the way through.
Oh, man. Garrett, you made it to Ninja Tip of the Day. What do you got for our listeners, man? Ninja tip of the day. Any outdoor advice or even life in general, man? What do you got?
You know what? I'm sitting here. I'm looking at my tack driver hat, and we were just talking about tack driver TV and everything. My ninja tip of the day, and I'll relate this back as to why. My ninja tip of the day is try something to give your hunt a more rewarding, more trophy aspect. And what I mean by that is, like, if you've ever made your own fishing lure, when you catch a fish on it, it doesn't have to be the biggest fish, but it makes it that much more special. And one of the things I did this year was I took wing feathers from a turkey that I killed, and I created my own fletchings, and I fletched my own arrow, and put the whole arrow together with ethics components and everything. But I fletched it all myself with turkey wings that I had killed myself. And when I shot that turkey, the one I filmed for Tack Driver, it was just that much more rewarding, because it was something more organic, something I had done myself, something I made it a little more personal. And I think especially nowadays with social media and with filming and with everything else, a lot of times the small aspects kind of get lost because you're thinking, okay, well, I got to get film of this, I got to get this, instead of missing the organic part of the moment. So my ninja tip would be to try something new. Try to, whether it's fletching your own arrow, whether it's just putting your own arrow together, maybe learning how to work on your bow better yourself, anything like that, to just kind of make something a little more personal. It greatly increases the reward.
Amen. That's a solid ninja tip, man. That's dope as fuck. I you know what, and I encourage that to any listener out there because there's a lot of like new guys coming into the field, and it could be new in any different spectrum. Like myself, I'm new to whitetail, you know, only a couple years in. But even let's go further back, new archery hunter. Let's say you grew up rifle hunting, and your segues crossbow. Now you want to graduate to whether it be longbow, recurve, or compound. It's like we encourage that in the sense of you're going to have the support. And you know what? Come to East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. Come to Working Class Bowhunter Podcast. Reach out to us because we'll point you in the right direction. If not, we'll hold your hand in it. Reach out to the Modern Assassin. Reach out to Wild Edge Inc. Because all these companies are pro hunter, pro archers. We want to get people in. Reach out to Elite Archery in the outdoor group. They won't turn you away, man. They want you to buy their shit. You know what I mean? They're going to hold your hand and cradle you like a little fetus that you are.
Absolutely. You know, and to kind of look at this at like a larger perspective, I understand why it's hard for new guys to get into hunting because here's the thing. Do you want to give up anyone your hunting spots? No. Do you want more people hunting the same block of woods you're hunting? No. But at the same token, we'll all take time to teach a person to shoot, to teach a person how to go find a spot, how to, go about it, how to go out and scout and break down the areas that you have available. So I understand why guys get intimidated about it and everything else. But, yeah, it is about the bigger picture. If I don't get more people into hunting, I'm not going to be able to continue to hunt myself.
Or worse.
It's a very weird thing that it's like, of course we want to get more guys into it, but, just not near my stand.
Yep. Damn, deer got close on that one.
Yeah.
So, Garrett Benner.
That was a moose.
Yeah. Garrett Benner, the Modern Assassin on Tack Driver TV and the Pursuit Channel. What rattles yo antlers?
What rattles my antlers? It's really fucked up. I know all about the podcast. I've been on the podcast. I know this is coming up, and I gave zero thought toward it.
Perfect. That's how we like it.
Right? What rattles my antlers? Okay, I'm looking here at my camera arm and all that I've thought about it and all that I've put into it. And, like I said about even the products I was speaking about earlier, the steady form and everything, there is nothing I will promote in any shape or form that I am not a 100% believer in and use myself because I am a 100% believer in it. And what rattles my antlers is the guys that are, Matthews is the best bow in the world because Matthews cut him a deal. And then 3 weeks from then, Hoyt cuts them a deal, so Hoyt is the best bow company in the world. But now they're licking someone else's ass, and they're now the best bow company in the world. What rattles my antlers is people that are looked at as an influence and give advice, and I say advice in quotation, to what people should be using or how that do it for. I get people need to make a dime and there's promotion, but promote shit that you really do use and you really do believe in. Don't feed false dreams and bullshit through product to be a pro staff member or make yourself look like someone, because at the end of the day, everyone's going to see through your bullshit and be done with it. And at the end of the day, I feel like somebody that maybe doesn't have sponsors and talks about shit because they do like it and, more of a promote what they love than condemn what they hate, you're gonna maybe take their advice and have a little trust in what they're saying over just the advertisement bullshit that's been shoved down everyone's throat.
I couldn't agree more. And I want to like wrap that all the way down to believe in the people that are the same when you meet them in person. Fuck the snakes in the grass. I'm piggybacking right now. Fuck the snakes in the grass, because those people are putting on a show for whatever they have to offer in the industry. And when I say industry, you know, we're all educational in one way, shape, or form. But the people that you hear right now and on other platforms, and then you go ahead in a trade show and meet them and shake their hand or even wave hi to them, guess what? If they're extremely to the point, down to the arrow, quote unquote, how you perceive them to be, guess what? You could believe in their word. Other than that, shit. If they're saying they're killing shit, but they're not showing they're killing shit, guess what? They're not killing shit. If they say that they promote unity, because we really praise that, and then on the other hand, you find out that they're talking behind someone else's back or whatever, guess what? They're not praising unity. The short of it is believe in what you see, because seeing is believing. And this is raw, real, no bullshit here on East Coast Bowhunting Podcast with Garrett Benner, the modern assassin, and you can hear him on our intro. And on that note, stay stepping,
stay slaying.
Podcast go straight to hell. Yeah, speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on the East Coast. First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool.
Heart, you live it, you breathe it. It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind. It's a fantastic thing.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like beer. I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're the guys that showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus.
Point where it is now, where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. And if you're not pissing people off, you're not doing it right.
Nothing forced. It's all fucking natural.